All right, next game. Wolves 0, Arsenal 1. Strand Larson subbed off injured, which is alarming, but also opens up some opportunities that we can talk about in waivers later.
Yeah.
Lewis Skelly got that red card, 43 minutes. Suspicious. What do you guys think? Was that a terrible red?
Feels like Oliver he's a Newcastle fan, isn't he? So I think he was trying to set up the game for Arsenal to lose.
I hate the way Arsenal fans complain. And that being said, I fully thought
They're
this was pretty
justified.
ridiculous. Yeah.
They're fucking justified
yeah.
in this one.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty bad.
And they went to VAR, and VAR looked at it for a good fucking few minutes. It wasn't like they had a quick look. They fucking looked at that shit and said, you know what, let's double down. Yeah, that's a fucking red.
The issue is that these nerds in charge of VAR, and they go, well, actually, by the letter of the law, his studs were raised above the ankle, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, actually, it was like he just a trip, and there's nothing more to it. And any
It was a yellow card.
Yeah, any person that's ever played the game would like it's yellow. But if you were to maybe break down the actual rules, maybe you can make some sort of weird convoluted argument that that's a red, but realistically, that's not the case.
Yeah, it was a bad call by the referee. It definitely was. It was a professional foul.
Yeah, that's all. It was a yellow every day of the week.
Yeah,
it was disgusting, to be honest. Gomez also got a red card in the 70th minute. That one was fair. I don't think anyone complained about that one.
I said, yeah, not suspicious at all.
Not
that
suspicious
was
at all.
dirty as fuck.
Yep. And then Enzo, as Enzo likes to call him, Cauliflower comes in and gets a goal for them, saves Arsenal, and ends up being a 1-0 game. Raya, the highest scoring Arsenal player, 15.25 points. Abagagu, a defender for Wolves, 17 points. Kunja, 4 duds in a row.
Worrying.
You know, the most annoying thing is that we had a trade with this guy, Nate, who's running away in one of our leagues, and he traded away Kunja and another piece to get Holland. And at the time, it was like, oh, this actually kind of makes sense. But now it's like, Nate just did it again.
He fucking got crystal ball, man.
Yeah.
He's got, you know that witch in Dragon Ball Z that rides around the crystal ball? I've never seen Nate, but that's how I think he looks like.
That's fair. Fair assessment. I think he's like, what'd you say?
Can I defeat Kunja a little bit?
Yeah, defend him.
Defend?
Yeah, defend. Yeah. So,
defend. Yeah.
4 games, right? So, first game back, he came on only played second half. They were down against Newcastle, hottest team, so he still managed 9 points. 5 points against Chelsea, which that one you expected more points, and then again 9 points in the loss against Arsenal. So it's not that he's having duds. It's not bad. 9-5-9, coming off of an injury.
Okay,
also, him and his manager, they've had kind of some issues.
Rocky relationship, and I don't think Kunja wants to leave too. So Kunja's probably pushing for the exit as well, which is distracting.
He's so
a
good
9
to be on
is
that team.
A dud for Kunja, just like a 14 is a dud for Salah. It's exactly the same. It's a dud. For the standards he set,
I know what you're saying.
It's a stud.
No, coming into the year, if Kunja averaged 9 points, you would think that's decent.
Yeah, but that's coming into the year.
Yeah,
I'm talking about what he performed.
Yeah, he set a higher standard.
You can't do that, Tico. You know you can't. Just get your head out his ass.
We're still concerned about Arsenal's attack, though, right?
Well, yeah.
But I know they went down a man. I know yada yada, but it's not looking good. Actually, I don't know if we want to chat about it, but I traded away Odegaard and I got Bruno Fernandes.
I don't know.
Huge trade for you after you said Odegaard will have the better year.
How many times have you touched fucking Odegaard and Bruno?
We've swapped twice now. Yep.
Never go back to your ex.
So, I'm never going back to Odegaard. I'll tell you that much. I don't care if they play Bruno Fernandes as a defender the rest of the season.
Is it?
I'm not going back to Odegaard.
But you're both is the same teams, right? It's not different.
Yeah,
leagues.
I'm trading the same. Me and the same guy. I've literally just playing musical chairs with Odegaard and Bruno Fernandes. Pretty much.
It's Steve Burner phone. What's going on with Cauliflower? He's another frustrating player to own. That whenever he plays, he produces points. Dude has like 2 goals and an assist off of 8 games. But he doesn't start, so it's frustrating.
Injuries. He hasn't been. He's been coming off injured. I think they're just being careful with him now because he came in and started getting injured so quickly right away. So I think they're just really doing workload management with him.
He does have fantasy value, in my humble opinion.
He definitely has fantasy value, but I think it's he's just not guaranteed to start. So, but if he's starting, you throw him in.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
One of those.
Cauliflower has fantasy value.
I know you don't like him, Enzo, but I think most people would agree he does.
And I'm Italian, and I don't like him. Okay, I think he's overrated.
Okay. Moving on. City 3, Chelsea 1. Ouch. 2 new City players both got starts. Mamouche and Kusanov. One to forget for Kushnerov, who literally within the first few minutes headed the ball, a bad pass that went straight to Jackson, who knocked it over to Madueke to score. Marmouche looked a lot better. Actually, had some really exciting moments. I think the 5 points he scored wasn't quite indicative of how dangerous he looked.
Well,
Because there was a lot of offsides.
But you want to look
moments.
at what if he can produce fantasy wise. It's the same as Rogers last season. We can use that example every time. You can look good, and he did. Don't get me wrong. I think he did. I gave him a different dynamic to Man City, going around the back, spinning off, and making runs. But unless you have that, that factor at the end where you got a key pass, a shot on goal,
With finishing,
or finishing, or anything like that, 5 points is going to be indicative of what kind of games he's going to have. He has to adapt.
I think it's his first game in the league, so you can give him a little bit of I think you look at him, you go, okay, there's something there.
Well, it's the same with Kusanov. 18, doesn't speak a fucking lick of English. Had 2 trainings. What do you expect? That's Pep's fault.
I thought that was ridiculous. I think you can do that with an attacking player a little easier. I think to throw an 18-year-old defender in like that is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, man.
Like crazy.
He's losing his fucking mind, Pep. Tell me.
Enzo, what are you saying here? Is it official no CL to worry about? Makes them more dangerous. So you're saying if they don't win this week,
if they don't win this week and they're out of Champions League, are they even more dangerous because now they have to worry about
absolutely. I think any Premier League fan is hoping that they win and get into the Champions League next round, so that they just can be distracted a little bit. Because I think that's a good shout. Holland got that goal, just really capitalized off the Robert Sanchez mistake. 28.25 points. He also got an assist in the dying moments. There's a really nice the way he held up that pass from Ederson and played it off. That was
it down the middle.
Yeah, yep. That kind of transitional play is how Holland scored a lot of goals in Germany. So it's interesting that Pep's kind of gone back to this like long ball thing. I don't know if that was just against Chelsea because their high line was so bad, and Pep was like, oh, we can just literally knock balls over the top and run onto it. But it's an interesting thing that Holland's really good at as well, and so it's actually kind of scary.
I think it worked out for him more. He's been padding the stats more. Before, you had to score a couple goals. And all he got was shots on target. On this, you saw he had 2 effective clearances, 4 aerials, 1 interception, 2 shots. He had 3 key passes too, which is from him is unheard of.
Yeah. Guardiola with a goal at 18 points. Nunez, 18 points and assist. Nunez actually had a good game in that right back position, which we haven't seen him do that much. It is weird, but he's been doing it. Foden, 13.25 points. He got that gool. So 7 goals in 7 games for him. He is officially back to his old self.
He's back.
Chelsea, pretty disappointing game across. Obviously, the Jackson got an assist to Madueke. They scored decently. Palmer, absolute dead. Enzo, pretty mediocre. Enzo's back with his wife, so we should expect We should expect him to regress a little bit from his performances because you know that Enzo, as a terrible person, is a much better player.
He's still a fucking terrible person. He literally broke up his wife just to go fuck around and then got his.
We don't know.
No, he fucking dude. He fucked around. He went around London and fucked around.
Probably.
He did.
You sound so confident. It's like you have sources on this.
Oh, I've seen it all. Seen the pictures. Tabloids, mate.
Are you Eskimo Brothers?
Tabloids? Huh?
Eskimo Brothers?
Eskimo Brothers?
Chelsea, just not good.
It just wasn't bad. They hit Man City on a bounce.
Chelsea's on a pretty bad streak right now, and not so much like the goal. We always talk about them, and they when they were on that good winning streak, they weren't getting punished defensively. But I think more importantly now is that they're not. The attack is so bad right now. It's really looking bad. And these players are scoring really well. Even like the Sanchos and the Netos were getting a lot of points for a while now, and now it's all just dried out. And everything just feels like the attack is so dry. And I know you can talk about the defensive issues and Sanchez and all these things. And oh god, Sanchez, that's a whole other headache that I don't even know if we can really get into. But
no, I'm just
saying that the Chelsea attack is concerning me more so than the defense. We've always known the defense was not good enough.
And I think we mentioned it at the beginning of the season. If you need to change anything, it was the goalkeeper and the defenders.
Yep.
So
okay, we can move on. Next game.
Just real quick before we move on. So concerning for Savi owners like yourself and Doku.
Oh yeah.
Doku was injured. And also we talked about Phil Foden over the last month. He's the highest scoring player, 108.75, averaging 21.75. Second is Haaland.
Yeah.
So they're back, and all of us feel so stupid for not trading for Foden,
trading for Foden. I sent a few offers out. I should have just offered a little more. I was just lowballing.
Me too. I kept studying my shitty defenders.
I think the biggest thing with this Marmouche trade is that all of a sudden Savio, which for a few weeks there looked like he kind of been a lock to
Solidified.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah, now all of a sudden it's very gray, and I've kind of gotten burned the last 2 weeks. And now, I looked at a good look into next week too. Like if City plays on Sunday, and they're not in the early round of games, like you're not, you just got to prep that he's not going to start. Like you just got to start mentally prepping so you don't get burned.
Yep.
Because if you waited the last 2 weeks, you got burned because City played on Sundays or later in the week, both times.
Yep.
Or like later in the day on Saturday when a lot of games already happened. So you have to start thinking about that with the City attack because it is getting a little crowded up there.
Yep.
With these new guys with Marmouche. But I will say, yeah, I mean, we'll talk about Marmouche a little more in waivers.